You do too, Guy.
I always do. Thank you. All right. Well, welcome to Mastering Git. My name is Guy Bryant, and I'm really excited to do this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can hear me talking. I think that stopped. That's good. So let me ask you all, on the scale of, I always hate these questions, but I don't know a better way to ask it. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, this is going to be one of my first interactions with Git, and 10 being I use Git frequently and very comfortable with it. You can answer or you can type into the chat. How comfortable are you with Git from 1 to 10?
Let me start first. I use Git pretty often and I use my local environment. So I think on the scale, it should be 6 or 7.
Cool.
No, but I don't know how deep it is. Like, I don't even know the whole world of Git. Maybe it's more than what I expected. So
Sure.
like, it's not like I'm new to it, but I know pretty decent amount of information to work with Git.
Awesome.
Thanks.
I second what Nin said. That's about where I am too.
Okay.
I know like the basic push and stuff. If I mess anything up, like I have to look it up to see how to fix it, basically.
Right.
I can't just whip that out of my internal bank of information.
I think I'm a 6 as well. I know the basic, committing and like pushing and stuff like that. But I know there's some other like rebase and all that kind of stuff that I'm not really used to it yet.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with Git.
Okay.
I always got problems when I work with Visual Studio, and I try to push, and they always give me problems. And yeah.
Okay. Sharon, what about you?
I'm comfortable with the basics, which I've been using for several years.
You posted in the chat. I didn't even see that. I'm sorry. I called you out like that.
It's okay. I was eating my cereal. Yeah, just the basics, the pushing and the committing, and whenever I have to do something else, I'm a little uncomfortable. I mean, by myself, I'm fine, but when working with other people who are working on the same project, that's where I'm not comfortable.
Okay. Very cool.
Oh my God, what do I do?
So collaboration is a sticking point, you'd say?
Yes.
Okay. That might be useful for future study groups, even a collaborative thing. That could be fun.
Yeah, if we could try it out on each other, and this way, if we break something, it's okay. We can just, if it's bad enough, we can just trash it, but when we have to merge things, yeah, that's hard because reading the conflicts, they're a little cryptic to me and things like that.
Sure. I can't spell collaborative. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to work on this together. If I can bring it over. Okay. So we are going to, I'll have to post the link, that's the wrong thing, down for you all to get to it. I should have done that already, I think. I'll post that into the chat. I can get to it. Nope. My chat. Here it is. Nope, that's not it either. Sometimes, there it is. Sometimes working with Zoom, when you're sharing is complicated. Yeah.
How many monitors do you have?
Modders?
Monitors.
I have 2 monitors.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes it gets lost in there too.
Right. So yeah, it was hidden underneath your guys' faces. All right. So there's a link. If you guys can go there. And if you already know how to fork and clone, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, you guys can follow along with me. So it's pretty simple. We're just going to click this fork button. And you probably won't have all these options, but you're going to fork it to your account. And it has this really neat little image of a fork in a book. And once you have forked it to your account, and if I'm going too fast, you guys can just tell me to slow down or stop. We're going to click clone, and you can click this little button here to copy it, and then open up your terminal. And it seems like everybody's pretty familiar with this part. What was that?
What terminal do you use? Just like the one on the computer?
So I am using a Windows 10 computer with the Windows subsystem for Linux. And so this is called CMDER is the name of it. It's called like Commander, but it's just CMDER.
Okay.
My shell, I'm using the fish shell. So this is not bash, this is called fish. It's like bash, but it has some extra nice features built into it. But I could easily do the same thing from bash.
Maybe we could do like a terminal. We should talk about terminals later because I know nothing about terminals.
Sure.
You need to know stuff. So.
I'm gonna switch back to using fish. Fish has autocomplete features that I like a lot. So if you are already in the directory, does everybody feel comfortable navigating to the directory to clone this down? You know how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to move this into iron. I'm going to make a directory called Git study group. All right, so git clone, and then we're just going to paste this in. And we'll clone down, type in your password. And then you can CD into it. And then now we are in the game. Now, the way this game works, I really don't know how better to describe it, but it's like a riddle game. So you have to solve the clues each step of the way to figure out what we're checking out and what to do next. There are these two resources here that are really helpful. So I would suggest maybe opening it up in new tabs. And I would even bookmark these for future reference. Anytime you're not sure about something, this cheat sheet will help you remember some common commands and what they do. And they're categorized really well. And then this second one has a little bit more information on top of that. But they're all really helpful. All right, so at level 1, your first task is to check out the commit whose commit message is the answer to this question. When a programmer is born, what is the first thing she learns to say? And so if you guys think you know the answer, just go ahead and say it and we'll try it out together.
Hello.
Hello world.
Hello world. Yeah. So we're going to do git checkout and we're going to type in hello world.
Why checkout? What's that do?
That checks out a branch called Hello World, right?
That is what it should do. I did not get to check it out though. Yeah, so the checkout command is a command used to switch your current branch to a different branch. Okay. So you type in the branch name and it'll switch from the branch that you are in to the one specified. So git branch. Is there a git branch -a? These are all the branches here. I don't have a hello world branch.
So maybe you needed to add /b to create it while checking out, maybe.
What was that?
I said that maybe it was just not, like checkout, but you needed to create the branch also. So you would add /b.
We will not be creating a branch.
Oh, okay. I say it because since it's not listed, maybe it is because we need to create it as well.
Right. So in this case, we will not be actually creating any branches.
So the branch is existing on the remote, is what you're saying?
Everything that we have should be in our repository already that we've cloned into our local machine.
This is where I get confused. real simple, like when, the point of reference, there's the remote,
Yep.
and then there's our local, and then there's the master. And sometimes master is on both. So when people talk about stuff, sometimes I have to ask them, well, where are you right now? Who are you trying to communicate with? Yourself or the server?
Sure.
So
Yep.
so when you say we have it in the repo, that says to me that now we have it on our local, right?
Yeah. So when we did the git clone command up here, we cloned everything that was on the remote is now on the local.
Okay.
Everything.
So our repo, it's a repo and we've cloned it. Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. No problem. So
So maybe it's not hello world, and maybe it's like code for life, maybe.
Code for life. Where are you getting that from?
From the
Listed there.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if it's not hello world and we're not required to create a new branch, maybe it's another one.
Right. So I think what we need to look at is when it says that we need to check out a commit. And maybe that's different than checking out a branch.
Yeah, it's saying check out the commit whose commit message is the answer to this question. So we're looking for a commit message.
That's right.
Says, hello world.
So how do we view commit messages is the question, right? So if we type in git commit, we can submit a message. We know that. So how do we view a commit message is the question. We can check out branches.
Git log.
Okay, let's try git log. Look at that.
Yeah.
So now we have a log of every git commit that we've done, that's been done to this repository in our current branch. So now to check out this commit, we will actually use the hash. The unique hash is based on the author and the date and the contents of your commit. So this will always be unique. And so we will just use the first 4 is all we should need to use. So if we do git checkout 6402, that should do it. Now you'll notice this puts us into a detached head. Do you all know what the head is?
Sounds like it hurts.
So head is a pointer.
Is that like the head is like the furthest point at which your Git branch is? Like that's like if you think of it as like a tree with different branches for each log, like your last log is your head. Is that what it is?
Yes. So the head is a reference.
So since you went back, you're detached from what the actual head is?
That's right. So this is, if you've been here, learngitbranching.js.org. If you have not, this is an excellent website to get a really good grasp on Git branching. It's an interactive game, and you can actually visually see what happens.
Cool.
This right here says master. This is the branch we're on. The head of master is right now pointing to C1. So what we did is we checked out a previous commit, and so we detached the head. So now we're pointing to somewhere different. So when we look back in our code, or our terminal here, we are in a detached head state, so we can look around, do experimental changes, and commit them. We can also discard them without impacting any branches or performing another checkout.
But we haven't done anything yet. So
Not yet. You're right.
So basically, what we're doing is another developer commit, right? So whoever that person is, Henry Garcia. So we can do whatever we want with it because we're not affecting Henry's work.
That's right.
And we might do this if we wanted to check out if he did something and he wanted us to take a look at it.
That's right. Or another valuable use of this is version control. So if I've made several changes and I decide I've committed along the way and I have good commit messages, I can do a git log. I can look at this hello world, updated the README, add welcome screen. And if I decided I don't like level 1, I can always check out a previous commit and then I can create a new branch off of this current commit that I'm in. So I've detached the head, and if I were to right now git branch new, it is, so if I git branch, just list all the branches. Do I have a new branch in here? Did I forget how to make it? Yeah, here it is, new. Right, so head is detached. Head is currently not on any branch. So let me check out new. So now I am on the new branch. And if I do git branch, my head is now attached to new. See that? So what I did is I checked out a previous commit. I detached the head. I created a new branch. And so now if I do a git log, you'll notice I have the initial commit and the hello world. Mm. If I go and check out master again, that's not how you spell checkout, and do git log, here's everything that happened. So what I did is I went back in time to hello world, created a new branch off of just what was done so far at that point in time, and I don't have the rest of the history of master now. So I was able to go back in time on the project and create a new branch off of that one commit message. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Hey, guys.
Yes.
I put a link in the chat. I use this program called git-kraken.
Yeah.
And it's like a Ruby, or not Ruby, it's a Git like controller, version controller.
Right.
And I'm a visual person, so it helps me a lot. And you can see like that box where it says head and there's that blue highlight.
Right.
Yeah. So it shows exactly where you are in the local environment. And it has like the check, like it's checked out right now.
Wait a minute, so what is this? Is this an application? Or
yeah, it's a separate application that I use.
Like like a lot of those do this as well, and they're very helpful.
Yeah, there's a lot of extensions in Visual Studio Code that do similar things, but like it gives a visual breakdown of all the different, like these different branches, that tree, mouse, code for light, bug. And then can you zoom back in, like that second line from the top, where it says master, and there's like a little picture of me and a little computer icon. So that shows like that's where my GitHub repository is, as well as my local version. So like if you work ahead in your local version and don't push it up to GitHub, it'll show like the little computer icon will keep going forward. And it's just interesting because you can see how everything interacts with each other.
Right.
And you see like Henry, the guy who authored it, like what he's touched too.
Yeah, that's really neat. I'll check this out. I've heard about this before, and I've seen an image before, but I've never used it yet. So I'll check it out. And it looks like it's free.
Yeah, it is.
A rudimentary way to do that in terminal is git blame.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. That's a command.
Yeah, I know. There's a git blame extension of VS Code too.
Can we go through that exercise after you explain it, Guy? Because it's very helpful.
Go through what exercise?
Well, so you said, like, for example, if we could see the changes, like where we actually did something, and then see it in line. So you're on a different branch. You've branched somebody down, and you're looking at the stuff that happened. Now you're going to make some changes. Let's see how that affects the tree.
Oh, I don't have Git Kraken. You want to see Megan do that?
Sharon, after this, if you have time, I'll pair up with you and we can do that.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I just work straight in the terminal, and it's not as descriptive. But every time I've opened up one of these things, it's just like I feel safer going back to what I know, because it'd be affecting someone else's code. So that would be helpful.
Yeah. Let's talk on Slack after this.
So the message here is pretty clear that you detach the head. You can do experimental things. You can discard them easily if you want. But if you want to, you can also create a new branch if you want to retain any of the commits you create. So this is a good way to check out something you've done previously. You detach the head, and you can play around without worrying about affecting anything permanently. But if you want to have permanent changes, you make a new branch. So the way that this game that we're doing works, we checked out this new branch. So now we need to check out the README, or check out's not the right word here. We need to look at the README to see what is going on. So I'm just going to use the cat command, which will print out the README to my console. Cat is a useful command. Any terminal can do that. And it just displays whatever's in the file out into your terminal. So it looks like you have some knowledge about traversing commits. So now we have to go to level 2. So we want to get to a branch whose name is the answer to this riddle. I am a creature that is smaller than man, but many times more in number. In code, my appearance can be subtle, and no matter where I am found, I am unwanted. What am I?
Bug.
A bug. So let's check out bug. It looks like so now if I do git branch to see where I am on the bug branch. So now let's go ahead and cat out the README again. Congratulations, you found the bug. So when you work with other programmers, bugs are bound to appear. One way to create bugs is by changing code that you did not write without understanding what the code is doing. Level 3. Sometimes we like to blame others for introducing bugs in our code. Think you can find out who introduced a bug into our file, cool.cpp. So that's a C++ file. We think he had something to do with the development of Git. And from what we hear, he also made a branch under his name. Check out to that branch after you find out who the culprit is. So let's list out the files we have. So here's cool CPP. I'm going to cat out cool CPP. So here is something. There's some kind of a bug in here, supposedly. And whoever made this bug, we need to check out the branch by their name. So let me just read this again. Git. Okay. Let's try a git log before I get too invested into that. And let's see who.
So the author is Henry Garcia and Calvin Kwan, Linus Torvald. Well, he invented
Git.
Yeah.
So Henry's been working on it, and then Calvin's working on it, but the update was done by Linus Torvalds.
I mean, so wait, the README's asking to check out the branch. So, like, if we just list out the branches, like...
Right? So list out git branch and use the -a. It'll show you every branch. The difference between git branch and git branch -a, git branch will show you all the branches in the repository that you are tracking locally.
Mm.
So git branch minus A will show you every branch in the repository. So the difference is I don't have a Bill Gates folder. If I check out Bill Gates 2014, then I will be able to list that with just git branch. Does that make sense?
How could you not have Bill Gates directory if you clone down the Reaper?
So inside, these are just Git. I do have access to that. I just haven't checked it out yet. So I'm not tracking that particular branch of the project. So again, git branch, these are all the branches I'm currently tracking. And the git branch minus A, these are branches I am not tracking and branches that I am. So for example, Linus Torvalds is what we're thinking the answer is. So I can check out Linus Torvalds 2014. And now if I do git branch, you'll see Linus Torvalds is listed now, whereas he was not before. So I was not tracking Linus Torvalds 2014, but now I am.
Good distinction.
Okay. All right, so let's cat out the README again. Is everybody following up with this?
Yeah, if you guys like, because we're kind of going at a breakneck speed. I'm barely keeping up.
Okay,
so
yeah. Stop me at any time.
down.
Yeah.
Like, that's totally okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guy, you're just like, I think you just automatically get things like the way you think. And so you're just like, okay, got it, good, let's go.
Yeah, please stop me at any time. And I'm happy to take a minute to explain or to look up more details and to share resources or whatever we need to do.
Cool.
Is everybody at least at level 4 right now?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you normally work out of? Do you normally work out of a local code editor or the browser, the in-browser IDE?
I'm typically using Visual Studio Code.
Because, so I'm using that now, and I'm using Visual Studio Code with their terminal. And basically, I have the README open and the terminal open on the bottom. And as soon as I do that, whatever they need in the terminal, the README refreshes to the next.
No, sure, yeah.
Step. Just so you know, I don't know if you wanted to do it in the terminal this way, just to show people like the actual commands that you're writing in the terminal. But
yeah, so there's several ways, right? So we could do this. We could also, right? I could actually.
In case anybody's following along with him, this way is so much easier.
Right, so I could also go directly Git study group, right? Here's the Git game. I could also just open the README directly, which is an MD, which I have set to open up in here. So the README will change every time we check out a new branch.
Mm-hmm.
So there are several ways to access this content. Yeah, I prefer just to cat it out to the terminal where I already am.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're using an editor that like Visual Studio Code, it will automatically update, which is pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
It is pretty nice. I really like my terminal though. So the next clue you're looking for is in a file you choose to ignore. What do you guys think that might be?
Git ignore.
Git ignore. So let's see what we have listed here.
Great question.
So in the terminal, the ls command will list out regular files, but there are some files that'll be hidden. So ls minus a should list out all the files. So here's one. Here's something called git ignore. Now that has a star on it. Can I So is that a file or is that a folder? I don't really know.
It's a file.
Welcome to the ignore file. This is level 5. So this file, so now we're going to learn about the git ignore if you're not familiar with that. This file is hidden by default. So, but did you know you have some branches that aren't shown to you when you check the list of branches? So that's what we talked about earlier. This is not going to cover git ignore very well. Hey, Wendy, I'm not familiar with git keep. Do you want to hop on and explain that to me? I've never heard of that before.
Well, since I've been working on this project, the Sinatra project, I used the Corneo gem to generate the file structure. And I found out that those directories that were empty, like the models, the views, and the controllers directories, they had that file in it. Instead of git ignore, it was a git keep file. And I researched a little bit about it, and it's similar to the git ignore. So I just wanted to point that out just in case you run into that instead of the git ignore one.
But did you know why they put that there?
It's just so if I'm, for example, the first commit that I did, I'm sorry, my daughters are like playing around here. The first commit that I did was to push up the file structure of the app. So if a directory is empty, like completely empty, they won't be pushed up. So the gem automatically created or put that file into those empty directories, so they'll be pushed up to GitHub.
So it's like a placeholder, basically.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm kind of curious now, actually.
Yeah, I just Googled it, and the first thing that came out, what are the differences between git ignore and git keep?
Yeah, let's look at that.
Git keep isn't documented because it's not a feature of Git.
It's not a feature of Git. So it's okay. It's just a convention because you could use it. You could use anything in that place. I got it. So git ignore file to empty directories to get them tracked, but some people use this as confusing. Since the goal is to keep the empty directories, not ignore them. So when you type in git ignore, it sounds like, hey, Git, ignore this, but that's not what you want. You're like, hey, Git, use this. Okay. And so people are using git keep in the same way.
I don't think there's called git track.
That doesn't make sense. Git ignore, I thought, was just don't track this because the next person who pulls things down is going to see all that stuff and it's not important. For example, excuse me, if I on my local created a notes folder or something, let's just say, nobody cares about that. So every single time I save it, I don't want Git to keep track of it. I just don't want to lose it from, maybe from my own local file, my own local machine or something. Am I making sense? Mm-hmm. Because this is what happened to me when I was working with other people. They didn't care about some of the things that I was saving in that directory. I mean, it had nothing to do with them or ever would, but I needed it on my local.
That's right.
Role.
So what we just read was a comparison of git keep and git ignore. Git keep is not a Git thing at all. And so when you create an empty directory, there's a convention where I want this to go ahead and get pushed up to GitHub and to be tracked. So let me just add something to here real quick. And so some people were using git ignore just to have something they can push. And other people came along and said, well, that doesn't make sense because we're not ignoring anything. We want to keep this, so we're going to use git keep instead. Git keep literally means nothing. It's just something to put there for it to be tracked. Git ignore, exactly like you said, does serve an additional purpose. where you can create a pattern of files that can be ignored, that you can specify inside of the git ignore file. And I don't know if this is the right place to go over that, but there is, if you just type in git ignore, there is documentation on how to use that. So Git uses it to determine which files and directories to ignore before you make a commit. And that's something that we could go into at some point. I don't think we're going to go any deeper in this study group necessarily. But does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so level 5. The git ignore file is hidden by default, but we also have branches that aren't shown when you check the list of branches. So which abstract data type tends to implement sets and maps? The answer is the same answer to this riddle. I am both mother and father. I am seldom still, yet I never wander. I never birth nor nurse. What am I? That seems complicated to me. So I don't know, maybe we're not supposed to do this to cheat, but our answer is going to be in here somewhere. The answer is going to be one of these branches.
I think it either tree or trees.
Okay, do you want to explain that?
Oh, I have a feeling. I'm sorry. But yeah.
It sounds like you might have some kind of computer science background or knowledge of other programming.
Oh, based on the one they say over here, which abstract data type tend to implement set and maps? So when I see maps, I think about tree right away.
Yeah, so
That's just a feeling in me. I'm not sure about that. I don't understand the riddle though. But also, when they say I am both mother and father, then she totally makes sense too.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I think Nin's right.
that's definitely right. I was just curious how, because so I've gone through this once before actually, just because I didn't want to be caught up in the middle of this and not have any idea what we're doing. And I wanted to make sure it worked all the way through, because I'd hate to be like, hey, this is awesome, and then it's broken at some point, right?
You didn't want to be like, what is this one?
Right. So I had no idea about tree, and I was stuck on this particular thing for a while. I had to Google it and look up all kinds of stuff.
So tree's a data type, they said?
It is.
Wow.
It is a data type with
For
sets
what
and,
language?
with sets and maps. Just any kind of, like, so Java, C++, like anything that's not a simple language. Like the more complicated languages where you have to do static, void, main, and all that
Not
kind of stuff.
like simple Ruby.
Well, I think we can use it in Ruby, and I'm not a tree expert in any sense of the word. But
I
it's,
think there's a command where you can put on a terminal and do something with the tree. It print out like a chart, like something that with the head and like the root folder and then small files and directory. I don't know that command, but it's I think it's what tree is. Not just file they listed, but they can actually draw it as a chart.
I think I know what you mean then, because they do have that. I'm in the Sinatra section now, and so they're doing like the model
Yes,
data
yes,
controller, and they have that in some of the sections, like it's like indented and it has lines showing how they connect. Is that what you're talking about?
Right. That
Okay. Yeah.
the thing that came up most often when I was searching for tree data types was a binary search tree. I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but it's like a branching tree of, it's either going to be this or this, and so it can filter down, and you can, there's a lot of algorithms and a lot of Google interview kind of coding interview challenges that came up as a result of searching these things up.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty interesting. Okay, so now we're in the tree branch, and it looks like good old Linus modified the next clue input C++ file. Normally, when ran with the shell script output clue.sh, sh stands for shell, the next clue input cpp file would give us the next hint. Maybe you should try running the shell script with the next clue input file and see what happens. So you can run the script by running the command. So it is the .forward output clue.sh, and the name of the file, which is the next clue, input.cpp, right? That's exactly what they said for us to do. That's not how you spell okay. That is installed. So
You should submit a pull request, and then you can be an open source contributor.
yeah, I don't think they are actively developing this anymore. I'm pretty sure it's 4 years ago was the most recent commit. And that was to add badge something or another that no longer works. So that's cool. But yeah, maybe I will anyway. I'll contribute the A instead of an E. All right, level 7. There are 10 levels total. So we are almost at the end of this. So Linus has been here. I love messing with these amateur programmers. If you want some real fun, then you should try resolving a conflict between this branch, tree, and code for life. I introduced a little bug that you should fix in the conflict. After you merge these two files, you should run the shell script again. Good luck. And here's a hint.
I know how to merge files.
Excellent.
I learned it. So
It's cool. Good. Let's do it.
I'm trying to remember though. I think it's you do git merge. So you cd into the branch that you want to merge the file
So you would check it out, right?
into. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
you're correct. And then you say git merge, and then the branch that you want to merge into the current branch, right?
Let's see what happens. Git merge code for life. Merge code for life, not something we can merge. Did you mean this, RY? What is RY?
This is where Git messes with us.
All right, so let's try this. Let's look at our branches. Maybe I typed in the branch name wrong. Git merge code folder. It looks like that's right.
Do you need to slash something too? Like you merge two branches together, so should you list two branches together or no?
Yeah,
I'm
we
not-
might have to check out code for life first and then go back.
Okay.
Code for life. Check it out.
Cool, it's there. So now we should open the next clue.
So that was exactly right, Meg. You had to check out. You cannot merge a branch you aren't currently tracking locally. So you need to have checked it out at least once, and then you can do the merge.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a merge conflict in next clue input CPP. So we need to open next clue input CPP, and there should be some stuff added to it that will let us kind of fix the merge conflict. So when you do a merge and there's a conflict, has anybody ever resolved a merge conflict?
Mm-mm.
I have, sort of, yeah.
Do you want to try to talk us through what we're looking at here?
Well, basically, when you see this, like the head and the those lines, it's because the file has a conflict, and you need to resolve that first, and then try merging. So we would get rid of the line that says head, and the one that has the you know, like the code for life at the bottom.
Okay.
You should delete that line, and then the equal sign, and then try. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Before you delete it, would you mind? Yeah. Okay. So then, what's in the first line or the first section is going to be automatically something we don't want, or do we know? I mean, how are you reading this? How do you know? is it the chevron arrow signs or the plus, the equals?
Those like the head part and the bottom part. I'm sorry, I don't know how to call that sign.
We'll say the part between equals and code for life and the part between head and equals, right?
Okay.
So there's two sections.
So what I think it is that the second part is the part that was added to the file.
By us?
And that's the conflict. Like if you see the first section and the second section start with count. Is that how you pronounce that?
See out, count, whatever.
Okay, see out.
Yeah, it's the same thing as puts. This is what this does.
Okay. So what I'm guessing is that the second part was the part that was added. So you should delete the first.
But added by who? So I'm trying to get a reference here. So is the first part what my partner did or what my colleague did, and the second part is what I want, or is it the other way around? Is what I'm.
So with a merge, you bring code from one branch into your current branch. Your current branch is always going to be where head currently is.
Okay.
So this is head. What branch were we in when we did this? We were in the tree branch, right?
Okay, so that's us.
And then the second branch was called Code for Life. So this is from Code for Life right here. And so Code for Life had this C out in the same place where tree had this C out. And so they can't both be in the same place.
Right.
So we have to get rid of one of them. And so we have to decide, what are we going to keep? Are we going to keep the C out and this while statement? Or are we just going to keep this C out? Or are we going to merge it in some other way? There's no way for Git to know what we want out of this. We have to figure it out for ourselves, how to handle the merge conflict. So there's no way for it to know if we want what our partner did or if we want what we did. So we need to decide that. And if we're trying to read this, it looks like we want to just put out this statement. And after that, while one, whatever is supposed to be one, we're going to put out this statement. And then we're going to return 0. I don't know what the point of while one is. And I don't know what the point of...
Checking for the true. So 1 is true. So while it's true, it's going to print out. And then return 0 is just the end statement of the C++ file. It's like you need return 0 there for the file to run. It's just the default thing of the C++ language.
Okay. So
with the C++.
Yeah, she knows about trees and C++.
A little bit.
So how would you suggest we resolve the conflict here?
I actually don't really understand what's the point, what their point here, but I think with 2CL statement, it's going to be filed, but with the while one there, it's going to print out forever because while one checking true and it's going to be true forever. That's what I think, but I'm not sure. So don't worry about the return 0. The return 0 is the thing that must be in the mains file.
Okay, so maybe get rid of the while one.
And you can just combine that 2 lines together. So you can delete from the C out until the before end line. So you know the to solver, to push sign, right? That so you can delete from the C out, the down C out, the bottom C out, all the way to the letter.
Delete this entire line, you're saying?
No, the C out all the way to the 3 dot of the first one.
Okay.
So you're saying make those 2 statements into one?
Yeah. I mean, if in case the 2CL doesn't work, that's one thing that you can do. But I still really don't get the point of what they want us to do. Like,
let's just leave it like this and see what happens. All right. So then we need to use that C++ output. Output.
No, you need a dot and then a slash.
There you go. That's right. Thank you. Output clue, next clue.
Oh, wait.
Oh, nice.
Hey, perfect.
We did it.
I did the wrong thing.
So the point of this is to learn Git. it's not super critical that we understand how we fix the problem,
Yes.
but just to be clear, the way we fixed that problem is we fixed the infinite loop. That's all we did. Because while 1 is always going to be true because we were never modifying it. So that's all we did is we fixed infinite loop. We returned 0, which I didn't know the point of that. I had to Google that too. I could have just done it with nen the whole time. So that would have been easier. So that's it. We fixed infinite loop. And now we should check out the mouse branch, it says. Let's check out, is it mouse? Is that it? Wait, you need to resolve your current index first.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
The index is, I forget. Obviously, it's something that comes first, but in what context?
In what? So let's do a get status and see what we can learn. Oops. So you have unmerged paths, fix conflicts, and run git commit. So did we fix the conflicts?
I think we did fix the conflict.
We did. So now we need to do a git commit, right? But before we commit anything, we need to go ahead and stage it with a git add. So let's add the next clue, git commit, and I'm just going to say merge because that's all I care to say for this particular exercise. So that we can, so we fixed it, but we haven't committed the changes yet. And if we check out a different branch, we could lose the changes, and that would be unfortunate. So now we've merged it, and now we can do a git status again, and our working tree is clean. So it's important, if you're going to do all the work to merge something, you should commit your changes. All right.
Think
So,
about commit, commit, commit. Because you could be working on something and the power cuts and you're like, oh shit.
right. You cannot overcommit. You cannot.
Okay.
Like even going through the labs, like I constantly am committing just to get in the habit. Like with they'll have us do set up a migration. So I set up a migration and do rake db migrate, and after that I commit it. And then they're like, okay, now write out a form, do that, commit it. Just like get in the habit as you're going through labs, because when you go to work and start doing that, you're gonna want to be doing like committing all the time. And like especially if you're working on a project that other people are working on, you're going to be pushing a lot too, because like they'll need up-to-date stuff if other people are working on the same repo as you.
That's right.
I have to go in 2 minutes because I'm going into another study session. But could I ask if anybody knows if Git tracks deleting white spaces? So let's say, for example, it does.
Yeah.
That's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because what if you've had like you've had somebody who wasn't writing code and tabbing correctly, or had a whole bunch of white space, several line entries between the last set of code and the next one, and you're like, well, let me tighten this up.
You tighten it up through the file, commit it, and put the message as
Cleaning up white space.
Cleaning up white. Okay, but that okay, so that okay, and then when we looked at the merging, earlier before with head or whatever, would that wouldn't they show us some comments there? Because we remarked that we didn't know really what the conflict was in the previous situation with the while one.
So here's the thing. We're doing a little test exercise, right? But in real life, you better not ever be merging files that you don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like that would be ridiculous, right? So we are in a situation where we're jumping into something. We don't know what's going on, but it's a game, so it's fine. But in real life, we would never jump into a project and start merging junk. Be like, I don't know what's going on. Let's just see what we can do.
Yeah.
Like, I hope we would never do that. But you're right.
In a comment, right?
There will be no comments in the file because we're just looking at the files.
All right.
Right. We can do a git log and we can look at the comments,
Yeah.
before we do a merge. And
Or reach out.
typically, not everybody will be merging files, right? Usually there's somebody you're gonna be merging files into your own stuff. And so it doesn't matter what happened necessarily, as long as you're not trying to push that up into a change that affects everybody.
Yes. Oh, yes. And you could also reach out to the person and have a conversation.
And if you don't git commit, then the changes you make won't matter ultimately anyway. So you can prove, okay, I merged it and everything's working fine. Now I'll go ahead and do a commit on top of that, right? So there's not a lot of danger there, really.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
This was incredible. We have to do this again.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
Okay.
Hey, Wendy, to address your question, Git doesn't check for errors. It's just for the sake of this game that they were checking for errors.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I thought. It was just for the game, but like in real life situations,
Yeah,
what I
it
said
wouldn't.
makes sense, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't say like you can't do that. It'll just let you put bad code up online. Oh,
Like
it'll let you put wrong stuff up there for sure.
Right.
like for
For everyone to see.
All right. Thanks.
Well, I am good to keep going if you all want to continue, or if we want to call it here, we can. I think we are
We
on
have
step
one
8
more,
of 10. We're on 8 of 10, I think, right? Or is it 9? I don't know. Let's check out mouse and see what we get. I like to clear my screen. So let's put out the README again.
We're on 8.
8, 9, and 10. So we have 3 more.
I'm good to go.
Okay. All right. So resolve the conflict, and we found our branch. All right. It seems this branch has a file that was seen before in another branch. Do you remember what it is? I think this file has something to do with the next clue, but it seems to be very ugly looking. Maybe if we compare the differences between this file and the file from before, we'll know where to go next. So does anybody want to walk me through what they think I should be typing here? And maybe that will allow us to move at a more reasonable pace. Or does somebody else want to share the screen and we can walk you through doing it? Or I will keep going, and that's fine too.
I think your screen's good.
My screen's awesome. I like my
Yeah.
screen. All right. So we
well, I think they're telling us to use git diff,
that's right.
but what does remember mean? Like,
So the clue here, this branch has a file that was seen in another branch. So we need to go find another branch that has a remember file in it. And Git Kraken I don't know if that makes it easier or not. So I don't remember, but I can do Git.
I can share if we want to.
So if I do git branch, these are all of the branches that I've checked out so far. So it has to be in one of these branches, right? So we can just go through top to bottom. That's not how you check out a thing. So let's check out Linus. There's no remember here. Git, can't spell. Let's check out bug. Oh, here's a remember. Let's cat out remember. Oh, so remember they said it looked ugly?
Mm-hmm.
So let's Control C and stop that. So we have, would it recognize the alias CO instead of checkout? I don't know. I've never heard of the CO. Checkout. What branch were we just in?
It's -co, I think, if you're doing an alias.
It was mouse. So actually, I just git.
I think you have to do -co.
I think with only CO will work.
You believe what will work?
CO only. No, don't need. Oh, Also, then you don't have that alias then.
I don't have the alias. That's right.
Okay.
I'd have to create a, right, get alias, what is it? CO equals checkout. Is that how you do it? No, that's not how you do it. I don't know how to do it. We'll do that later. All right, get bit. All right, so I am on bug. I need to be on mouse. And then I'm going to do, so it's get, actually, let's look at that. It should just be get diff.
Yeah, it's git diff, and it has branch or commit name, and then second branch or commit. But it doesn't say anything about individual files. It can tell you the difference in the files that you have or the files that you need to add in your next commit.
Okay, well, let's just see what happens. So get diff bug mouse. So the first branch and the second branch. So there's more. So if you look, the first thing is, so we have A cool and B cool, right? So it looks like A is going to be bug and B is going to be mouse. So the bug and mouse both have a cool CPP. This is going to diff the files for us. And then down here, they both have remember. So now it's going to diff those files for us.
Mm-hmm. So if you scroll, it has it.
So these are the differences between the two files. So this is just a weird random clue.
So it says Henry.
In a branch named Henry, the next clue is, or the next clue is in a branch named Henry. I bet if we diffed it the other way, it would probably show it. Mouse bug. There we go. The next clue is in a branch named Henry. Okay.
Yep.
Let's quit out of that. Check out Henry. That's not how you spell Henry.
It's capital.
Thank you. I'm in a detached head state. I'm not sure why, actually. Nothing to commit. Okay. Well, let's cat out the README. If you're looking for my branch, then you have gone the wrong way. How did you check out to a branch that has the same name as a tag?
That's why we're in the detached head.
Deal with the tag first. So let's see, does this talk about tags? When you use git push, every commit is pushed to tag. Git push Oregon tag name. That doesn't seem to talk about tags there. What about this page?
Yeah.
Git tag. Create a new tag or list all the tags you have set up. So you can check out a tag.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It says git fetch downloads all objects and references. It will download every branch and tag from a specified repository.
List. So if we type in git tag, it'll list all the tags we have set up. Let's just try that out.
Okay, yeah.
Git tag. All we have is Henry. So maybe this would be a good time for us to learn about what a git tag is for a moment. And the git SCM is a good source to learn anything. All right, you can tag points in history as being important. So use this to mark release points. So we can list the tags, how to create tags, and the different types of tags.
You know what?
What's up?
I just realized. Okay, so if you open up that screenshot that I had sent you earlier,
Yeah.
I know why it's the head thing, because if you go all the way to the top, you see the tag Henry.
Yeah.
At the very top.
Right.
That's why it said that, because the tag, like, they pasted that to be like at the head where, you know, obviously it shouldn't be there if we're going all around, you know.
So
That's why it said we have a detached head.
Right. So the deal with tags, you should never have a tag that is the same name as a branch. No matter where the tag is, if you check out the name of a tag, the tag will be checked out and not the branch every time. So you should never have a tag and a branch that is the same name. So this, obviously you guys know how to Google. I'll paste this in here. So tags are useful for what they're meant for. Just don't ever use them in the place of, or there's the same name as a branch is kind of the point.
So let's do git tag -d.
That's right. Well, not tag, right? Is it tag? It'd be get Henry. No, you're right.
Git tag -d Henry.
So the -d should delete the tag.
To delete, yeah.
Deleted Henry. So now if we try to check out Henry, there is no tag in the way. You are leaving 3 commits behind, not connected to any of your branches. I don't want to keep them. I don't care about them. So am I on Henry right now? I am on Henry. So whatever commits those were that were a part of the tag that we deleted, it doesn't really matter because we just deleted Henry anyway. But we could have at that point created a new branch to track those changes if we wanted.
I'm going to do that.
Do it.
Oh.
Nothing to commit. Okay. I'm going to cat out the README. Now this one, I was never able to figure out on my own, and I had to look up the exact command I had to use to solve it. So what we're doing here is, let's just read it. It looks like you made it to my branch. Generally, you want to refrain from making tags the same name as branches, unless you have a good reason. The tag is more like the stable release, while the branch is more like the in progress feature, which will be added soon. You're almost done. Excited? I hope you are. You have one more thing to do. Now it's time to update the master branch. Updating is really useful when you fork a repository and your forked repo starts to get behind on commits. The repository to update from is this here. Don't cheat. So we need to fork a remote repository. We're supposed to fork this from the command line and then do a pull request to update what we have going on here. So if we look at this link.
Okay. Easy peasy, we got this.
Oops. This is how we configure remote for a fork. All right, let's see if we can figure this out. The repository is this one. All right, so what it wants us to do, I'm gonna go back through and do so I can see behind. All right, so we're supposed to do git remote v. This is gonna push.
So hold on a second.
Yeah, I'm holding on.
So they said it's time to update the master branch. So I think what we should do first is make sure everything we have is committed and pushed, and then check out master because we're still in Henry.
All right. Let's read this again. I can see what you're saying. And I think that's what I was trying to figure out the first time as well. So we need to update the master branch. And updating the branch is not the same thing as committing a change. So updating is really useful when you fork a repository and your repo starts to get behind on commits. So what we're doing is we are, I don't know, let's say we go and we fork the Ruby repository and we're modifying our own version of Ruby, but they've updated Ruby several times and my fork doesn't have all of their updates. So I need to fork mine from theirs.
Gotcha.
That's what we're doing, right? So the repository,
we do have to switch to master since we're updating the master branch.
That will most likely be true. So what we're doing now is we're going to follow this and see if we can make it work. I wasn't able to last time, but I think I have a slightly better idea. So when we do git remote -v, it gives us the URL for the fetch and the push. Now we need to specify a new remote upstream that will be synced with the fork. So we have this. Let's just copy that. So we remote add upstream, and the upstream that we want to add is actually going to be this one. Original owner, original repository, git. So let's delete. Oh, I can't do that. This is the terminal. No, there we go. Okay. So now if I do git remote -v, now you see I have these upstreams, which I did it wrong, didn't I?
Oh, should you put replace the original owner and original repository with the real name?
Yes, I should have done that. Well, I figured I would just be able to use this. Okay. Give me a second.
No, you're still pasting that.
That's what I think I want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remote upstream already exists. So because I screwed it up the first time, oops, I wonder, so git remote -v, git remote. So now, because I messed up, I need to figure out remove upstream. This is fun. Git remote origin git rm. Okay. rm. I didn't seem to do it.
You are trying to remove the origin git where that one is upstream git. Remove, I mean.
So it's the remote that I'm trying to remove, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the upstream I want to remove.
But I think the syntax you use, the RN thing, is for original.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, should check out that one.
Oh, just RM upstream, it looks like.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Get remote RM upstream.
Cool. Now you can check remote view again. Yeah, that's good.
Very good. Well, that was helpful to learn, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is the one that I want. This is the upstream.
Okay.
Get remote minus V. So now I have this set as an upstream.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to I don't remember where I was. Did I delete the wrong tab? There it is. So we've added the upstream like they said. So now to view the new upstream, you've specified your fork. Okay, so we did that. And there's a fetch and a push. So maybe we can try a fetch.
Can I interrupt real quick? So when you put in remote V, are you hitting enter and then like after each line enter like that?
So I'm going to push enter one time and it shows all that data.
Okay. All right.
Is that looking differently for you?
Oh, I was just confused about what to actually put in.
Okay. Yeah, so the remote, the minus V tag just shows you all the origin and remote information you have. In case there's, unless they shouldn't usually be different necessarily, but in this case they are. So,
I think V stands for version.
what's that?
I think V stands for version.
Does it?
Usually when you check any like version of your gem file or your package, you use that.
Yep, that's true.
To check the version.
So if I fetch this, let's see what happens. Something happened. I'm on Henry, so let's, and maybe I should have checked out master like Meg had originally said. So I'm on master. Let's cut out the README. This is the very beginning again. So what if I do a get fetch now? Poor Diana, I'm sorry. Made it worse. Completely lost, huh? Still at
So
level one.
how are we supposed to know if it worked?
Well, we should no longer be
So
in level one.
push?
Let's go back to Henry again.
Should we push after we fetch?
We should not.
What was that one? What was that one that we merged? Tree, right?
We merged bug and code for life.
Check out bug. Are you sure? That is true.
You didn't say bug?
I did.
Why don't you say bug in the voice chat?
All right, so I got to this point too, and I had no idea what to do. I guess we could try a push. All right, we did the everything else. Let's do a get push. Let's just see what happens. Everything up to date.
Oh shit, you know what I did? I used the wrong thing. I used the original repository.
For your, okay.
For my, can you scroll up or can you go back and find the, can you paste that into the chat?
Yep. And if you went and checked out Henry, he would see it in his README as well. So if we do it up here, we can go to Henry. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. Stop. Dang it. Go back. So this is the repository we're updating from. We're not supposed to cheat, but I'm going to go look at this anyway. So this is the README that we should get when we are in the master branch and we've updated from this URL. This is the end goal. But I couldn't figure this out. So if we type in git-game, I don't remember how I did it last time. Update from master help. Completing the git game. This is where I went last time. And you're going to go through the entire thing. Then at the very end, this is what they did. Git add, so git remote add update from here. And then they did a pull update from here. And that is what actually worked. The link that they send to help just wasn't ever helpful for me. So let's try that. Git remote add. Instead of upstream, we're doing update from here with that URL that we got from Henry. And then now if I do git pull update from here, master, and what branch am I on? I'm on master. So now if I cut out the README, now I've finished the game. So I'm not sure what that update from here is. I don't know if that is like a variable. So you can see here's update from here. It's the same as the upstream though. And you know what I wonder? I wonder if I did git pull upstream master. Cut out the README. I bet that would have worked too. I bet that was it. I think you just had to specify the upstream in your pull and the branch you wanted to update from. I'm really curious. Let's do a git pull, not upstream. What I want to do, make a new upstream test. I'm going to clone this down. Oh, no. Oh, cd upstream test. I want to figure out if that works. So I'm going to clone down to fresh repository. If I do remote v, oh, I need a cd into the git game again. Git remote v. I don't have the upstream. So now if I do git remote add upstream from this link, remote -v, I have the upstream. Pull upstream master. Then I'm still in the master branch. If I cat the README, and that works. So I just learned something new with you guys, and that was a lot of fun for me. Does that make sense?
Oh, you're welcome.
Does that make sense what I just did?
You did a pull request on the upstream repository.
Right. So I now, my repo knows the origin and the master. And so I can specify origin and or master, probably not and, or master when I do a fetch or a push. So you can pull from one and push to another. So if I do git pull origin master, I'm expecting maybe a merge conflict, or maybe not. Nope, so my README is still just the one from the other one. The README didn't change, and I'm not sure why. It is still the one from the upstream. Oh well, I can look at that more later. But, so that's the whole game. Does anybody have any questions about that? This is my first time leading through this, and so maybe I could probably do a better job. I'm totally open to any kind of feedback on how to improve this.
I thought this was pretty freaking awesome. So
Cool.
yeah. I definitely, if I was you, I'd definitely run it again, like during the week or on a weeknight to get more people. Obviously it took longer than an hour because there was questions along the way. So maybe advertise it as like something for intermediate users.
Sure.
To like expand their knowledge. But even like if you wanted to do other sessions on Git in general, like I'd definitely go to them because that's something that isn't going away anytime soon.
So the people who created this created a part 2, which is supposed to be even more advanced and harder, and I haven't done that one yet. So if you or anybody's ever open to doing that in real time and just seeing if we can figure it out, I'd be open for that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I'd need to like learn a little more. I guess that would be the point of doing that, is to learn a little more on the go.
Right, to learn together instead of
like,
just trying
I
it
don't
on your
think
own.
we go into it expecting to get it all done in an hour, though. I think it would have to be more of like, let's plan to try to get half of it done in an hour and
Sure.
pick up the other half later on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Guy, I really appreciate you doing this. It was really helpful. You lost me at the end, but it's like it was really hard for me to concentrate with, my 2 daughters running around.
Right.
So I highly suggest that you do this again.
Okay.
It would be, at least, I know that for me, it would be awesome for this to happen like during the week.
Okay.
So if you could take that into consideration. And I am not lying in what I said, that instead of a level 6, I'm like a level 3. But I believe that it might be because I've never worked locally. I've always worked in browser IDE. And the learn submit command makes our life like really much easier.
So much easier. And it allows us to focus on learning Ruby and not trying to learn Git.
Exactly. So once again, I really appreciate you doing this, and I'll definitely jump in whenever you try to do this again.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely do it again.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. I'll find some time during the week to do it. That'd be cool.
I'll appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Guy. I really appreciate it too and enjoy it. The thing is, not at my level. I'm a very, very beginner. So I just got some very low experience with Git.
Yeah.
But I will learn a little bit more, and of course I will catch you.
So
thank you.
Was it for you, do you feel like was this a good use of your time being at your level and then doing this, or was it a little too far advanced, do you think?
Maybe the first part of the class, but I wouldn't recommend this class for a beginner.
Okay, that's really good
Maybe
feedback.
the intermediate level, yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes that good feedback.
Diana,
Yeah.
I'm pasting a link in the chat. So, I put together, and for Wendy and Guy, if you guys haven't seen this yet, I put together a spreadsheet of resources that I've used, and I've been sharing it around. And there's like different tabs at the bottom for different topics. I'm like painfully organized. And the first tab is all about Git and GitHub. There's so many resources out there for Git. And so that has like a whole bunch of stuff to help you with like learning how to use it. Oh shit, Git, I love, because it's like it has common things that people do. They mess up and they're like, oh shit, what do I do? And they're like, here's how you fix it.
Right.
But definitely check it out.
Thank you very, very much, Meg.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And if you guys have stuff that bookmarks that aren't on there, add your own stuff on there. It's editable for anybody, because I just started it, and I'm trying to make it available to as many students as I can, and hoping that eventually it just gets passed around to most of the community and becomes just this giant resource for everybody.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Thank you, Matt, for sharing that. Guys, I gotta run. I'm going to leave my Slack handle. I believe that Guy and Meg have it.
Yeah.
It's basically for Diana. Tenemos mucho en común, so you can flag me there. So I'll leave it here. Another fellow Spanish-speaking mama, so it'll be cool. I'm Wendy on Slack, Diana, so you could go ahead and Slack me whenever. That'll be cool.
I will post the link to the video into Slack. So if anybody wants to watch it again, you're welcome to do that at that time.
Awesome.
See me fumble through the first time. That'd be cool.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Have
Thank
a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's see if I can exit out of this. Stop.